But when we looked at it at half-time, Ger, he had scored 1-4. We debated it a lot. We said we'd give him a few minutes. As you saw, we brought him off. Then we got a penalty. Normally,
then John you needed him.
Yeah. Normally, John does his own thing. We give him a free rein. We had to put it over the bar. But everything worked out great for us.
Let's have a look at something here. We've got a little piece of action. If we just look, with my apologies. I want to say at this stage to our viewers in Britain, I hope you've enjoyed the game on Channel 4. Look forward to seeing you again, maybe for the football final in 2 weeks' time. Until then, from all of us in Croke Park, where Cork won the All-Ireland, bye-bye to you. We're going to turn now and talk to John Fenton. John, you must be disappointed at having to leave the game, but I'm sure elated that Cork won.
Oh yes, sure. The way my legs were, there was no point in continuing at that time. So I was disgusted to be leaving the field, but it was great to see the lads, and it was a great victory for us.
Was it the same injury you had going into the match?
Yeah, well, I got another crack on the other ankle just before half-time, and that's the one that did the damage. I just couldn't walk on either leg then after that. But well, I kept going as long as I could, but it couldn't last the hour.
Now, I want to talk to you in particular about two penalties. One you scored and one you weren't there for. Well, one wasn't a penalty, it was a 20-metre free. Did you really mean to go for a goal?
Well, I felt at that stage it was worth a try. They were probably expecting a point, and if we got the goal, I thought it would have given us a good advantage. Luckily enough, it went in. If I missed it, we could have been in a spot of bother.
What were you thinking when the penalty came late in the game for Cork and you weren't there?
Well, I don't know. We got a point out of it. If I was on, I'd probably have got a point as well. So, like, it made no difference at that time.
John Fenton, congratulations. Well done. We'll turn across here and talk to the Cork captain, of course, is Tom Cashman. Tom, how do you feel right now?
I don't really know, Jar. It didn't sink in yet. I think being underdogs, we'd nothing prepared or anything afterwards, but it makes it all the more sweeter.
Now, for about 20 minutes in the first half, you were under real pressure. You had taken a good lead, but Galway were coming back at you very strongly. Did you think that the signs were ominous at that stage?
Not really. I think the majority of the scores came from points, from frees, Jar, you know. And we said at half-time that if we got cut out fouling them, we'd win the match. And I think in the second half, they only got 1 point from a free.
What about your fellow defenders? They were magnificent, I felt.
We were getting a bit of a lashing all year from the press, the back line. Even though we're missing John Hodgins and Derek McCurtain, they should not be forgotten today. But the rest of the six backs, I think, went out. They stuck to their men. And we didn't care what Galway threw at us today. We were ready for them.
Was there such a thing as a turning point of the game as you saw it?
I think Tomas Mulcahy's goal, it took a lot of pressure off us. And as well as that, I think when they got the goal, they came back to 3 points. Dennis Walsh won a great ball. And he ran about 30 yards. And he hand passed to Jimmy Barry, who put the ball over the bar. I think after that point, I think the man who scored like Jimmy, the game was as good as over.
Of course, one of the sweetest aspects of this victory is the fact that so few people, so few experts expected you to win.
I'm glad you said that, Jar. I think, as we said before the game, we were confident all along ourselves. And, you know, Cork and All-Ireland final are a different kettle of fish.
Tom Cashman, enjoy your triumph.
Thanks,
we'll leave you get away. Let's speak now to Frank Burke here. Frank from Galway. Disappointed, I'd say.
Extremely disappointed. Very disappointed. We didn't play to our true form. Our performance was way below the day in Simple Stadium, and I think if we got a reasonable performance from our forwards, we could have won it.
Okay, Frank, what about Bernie O'Connor? Bernie, for the second time you experienced defeat in the final.
We did indeed, yeah. We didn't play well on the day, and fair play to Cork. They came up trumps on the day.
Is there a road back now for this Galway team, do you think?
Well, they're a very young team. Most of them are only about 22 or 23. So I think there is a road back for them, you know.
Of course, you will continually stand accused that you simply can't produce the goods on the day. And to an extent, you were again found wanting today, weren't you?
Well, I suppose if that's what they want to say, that they're entitled to say it. But we continue, and the team will continue to. Someday their day will come.
Well, I think everybody in Ireland, including in Cork, will say, well, come on, Galway, want to see you win in All-Ireland. The best of luck to you. Thanks very much indeed. Ger Cunningham, grasping a bottle of milk, the first bit of respite you've had all afternoon. Was it a very tough match, Ger?
Well, it was more nerve-wracking, Ger, from my position in goal. I say the lads went through hell outside, but they gave it everything. It was fantastic.
Now, there were many questions about your full back line, of course, in particular. You took a lot of criticism after your championship, in particular in Munster.
Yeah, but I think the lads were anxious to prove a point. I think we all felt that in Munster we got the run around from Clare in the final, and I think the three lads were anxious to prove a point, and we worked hard in training, we worked together, and I think the results showed there today.
There seemed to be a lot of confusion in the Galway attack in the early moments of the match. They were playing just 2 men up, but it didn't seem to be working today.
No, I think we were prepared. I think the element of surprise that worked last against Kilkenny wasn't there today. We anticipated what they were going to do, We told Johnny to stay back. It paid off. Just one of those days. The last day it paid off for them. Today it paid off for us.
In fact, Joe Cooney and Noel Lane got very little leeway, that's fair to say, I think.
I think so. Plus the fact of, I think our half-forward and centre fielders stopped them hitting in good position, which they did get against Kilkenny. And I think it made a lot of difference, and I thought, in fairness to the full back line, I thought they were fantastic.
So another All-Ireland medal. Congratulations, Ger Cunningham. Well done to you. Let's now turn to Teddy McCarthy. My goodness me, you've been in the wars.
That's right. It was only a small price to pay, Joe, for this All-Ireland final. It was a sweet victory. I was delighted. We heard from the first minute of the game to the last one. You know?
I was explaining just before the end there, when you were shoulder high from the fans, that you took a holiday during the training period. Did you think you had blown your chance at that stage?
Without a doubt, I suppose I was fortunate really, but it was unfortunate for John Hodgson and Devon McCurtain. They'd love to be here, But only for them I wouldn't be here.
A very good day for East Cork. You're a Glanmire man, of course, and I'm sure they're cheering for you right now down there.
Well, I tell you, the man ain't delighted for us Michael Brennan back in Glanmire, I'm delighted to be bringing back in All-Ireland to him,
That's fantastic. Teddy McCarthy, well done. Congratulations to you. Let's now turn and have a chat with this side, Johnny Crowley. Johnny, can we just talk to you for a moment? I think, in fact, Con Murphy wants to interject.
Could you let the Galway lads say a few words publicly?
Let's hear the Galway lads say their few words publicly then. Why not?
Right, lads. No matter what, Galway officials are here from O'Connell and Frankfurt, and they're anxious to say a few words. Typically sporting of them, they're here in our dressing rooms. So give them order, please.
On behalf of everybody in Galway, we want to heartily congratulate you on your excellent victory today. Naturally, we're very, very disappointed with our own performance, but your team were wonderfully motivated and excellently prepared for this game. And despite the fact that you were underdogs, nobody can say anything other than that you're thorough and deserving All-Ireland champions. From August.
That's Frank Burke. Let's turn now to Johnny Crowley. Johnny, can we talk to you about that performance out there? It was magnificent. Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it, Jar. The whole team, I think, played the way we trained and the way Johnny Clifford had prepared us. So I think it was inevitable, really, the result. They tried to fight forwards in the first half and we were prepared for it. And we just held our ground and eventually they had to come back to us,
Today you won your 5th All-Ireland medal. You were a member of the great team of the 70s as well. How does this now compare?
I think it compares, better, as good, if not better. The 76, it was my first one. This is my 5th after playing 7. And I think it's as sweet as ever one I've won. And we'll go on now again from here.
Congratulations to you, Johnny Crowley. The big tall man himself, the goal hero, Kevin Hennessy from Middleton. 2 great goals, Kevin. One in the first half, one in the second. Which one gave you most pleasure?
Both, John. You don't get them easy at all, I don't know.
The first one, in fact, there was a lot of confusion beforehand. I think we can just have a look at it now if we take a look at the screen there. Talk us through this.
Second goal. Well, Kieran Kingston played the ball, in the air, and I just ran onto it, it bounced up, and I tried to hit it. I was 2 miles out going and past to Jimmy, but I said I would go in. Lucky enough, I went in. I was lucky, really.
It was a beautiful score, sailing into the corner there.
Oh, well.
Did you try to place it?
What? I closed my eyes, hope for the best.
What about the one in the first half? There was a certain amount of confusion in the defence. The ball could have gone anywhere, and you were right on the spot, and the finish was perfect.
Well, the ball came across, and Joe Fitzgerald whipped and happened to go in between the cornerback's legs, and I just happened to be there. I pulled. Normally, these things can go wide, they can go in, Just one of those days, things went right, There's two more chances that we could have put away, didn't go right. We were lucky at times, we weren't a lot of them,
And just to sum up, how do you feel right now?
Thrilled, never better.
Good man. Kevin Hennessy, well done. Your clubmate, Pat Hartland, well done to you, Pat.
Thank you.
Now, you had a shoulder injury, a well-chronicled shoulder injury going into the match. Did it affect you at any stage?
Well, it was a bit sore half-time, all right, but Dr. Khan gave it an injection, but it held up fine. Very happy.
You had a painkilling injection, had you?
All right, yeah. Right. I had, yeah, but it was great.
You were playing at right half-back. We haven't seen you play.
I hadn't played there before, but it was great to be on and to win, They moved us in centre-back all right in the end. I was more at home there, I felt but I thought it was a great team effort. Fantastic win against all the odds.
You're very pleased with yourself?
Tremendous. Great team win, above all,
Especially as so many people had said you wouldn't win.
Yeah, they wrote us off, we went out with a point to prove, and I think we did, we hurled great as a team. And I think, at half-time we knew we were in a shout, and it came off then in the end, So,
So many people were knocking your chances. Did the players have any kind of a meeting late this week and say to one another, right, let's do it?
Well, we did team talk, right? I think it was last Monday week, like, you know, and 25 of us came together. And we said, like, this was it, like, you know, 25 of us were going to win it, like, you know. And we gave ourselves every hope, even though the press didn't give us much hope. So I think we came out and we proved our point today, like, you know, against all the odds.
Certainly did. They'll be celebrating in Middleton. Well done,
Sure.
Pat Harton.
Thanks, Jim.
Let's turn out to Tomás Mulcahy, the scorer of a spectacular goal in the second half. I'd love to have a look at that one again, would you?
Well, after the first half miss anyway, I think I made up for it in the second half. I was very pleased with the goal, actually.
Right. What about that goal? I mean, how did it come about? Do you remember it?
Well, I think it was a long clearance from the defence, and I went up with Tony Keady and I caught the ball above him. I just started running with it then, and I think Conor Hayes was in two minds whether to come to me or not because there was a man running inside him. So I saw the gap. Like when Conor was watching the guy alongside of me, I just kept going and hit it. Oh, luckily enough, it went into the net. So I was
Were two defenders on you at that stage?
I don't know, being honest, I can't even think now at this stage about it.
You're enjoying and savouring the moment of victory. Tomás Mulcahy, well done, Cork. Let's go back now to the elevated perch where Michael Lester is standing by.
Thanks indeed, Ger. I'm sure that we'll be seeing Tomás Mulcahy's goal quite a few times towards the end of the season and figuring perhaps in one of the goals of the year. But now, while we've been getting the views of the Cork team there with Ger Canning in the Cork dressing room, let's go outside the ground where Jim Carney's been getting the views of some of the people who were at the match.
10 minutes after the final whistle, Joe McGrath, you were involved in football and hurling in both counties. How did you read the game?
Well, I felt, Jim, that it would be close to the very finish, and it was, and I felt that Cork, out of adversity, won the day. They had so many injuries, they were definitely the underdogs.
Yeah, but these Galway forwards who were brilliant against Kilkenny, you'd have to say they were a big disappointment.
Absolutely, but they didn't play as well as they were
Were they allowed to play?
No, they weren't. They were marked out of it.
Who were the stars for you in the game, Joe?
I think, obviously, Cashman and Jimmy Barry Murphy were the leaders that led the team when things looked bleak.
Yes, and Dennis Mulcahy, we felt, had a great game as well.
He had indeed, yes, he had indeed, yes.
What about Keady and Finnerty for Galway? Played their hearts out.
They did, of course, and I thought Richard Brown, too, for Cork, for his first big one, did tremendously well.
But I mean, 31 counties thought Galway would win, Joe, is that?
Well, I don't think 31 did. I thought that I tipped Cork in the paper that they would win by a narrowest of margins, and I'm delighted that they did, and I'm sorry for Galway, of course.
So right, some fans, where are you from?
Cork.
From Cork. You're pleasantly surprised, are you?
Well, a bit surprised.
I mean, nobody gave you a chance, really.
Well,
I think not even in Cork.
In fairness, we were a bit worried coming up, but I think we'll be happy now. More than satisfied with
perhaps you were playing it cute before this game because your injured players didn't, with the exception of John Fenton, Pat Harton didn't look too injured, did he? He had a great game.
Yes, he did his great job.
Yes.
It's contact and the guts to play. That's what you need.
What about Dennis Mulcahy in the backline? We felt he had a great game.
He had a very good game in fairness.
And Jimmy Barry Murphy led the forwards well, didn't he?
He did, mind you.
Who did you think was the star?
I thought Kevin Hennessy over the last 15 minutes turned the game for Cork.
We have an always supporter here. Paddy Dunn, well known in Kinnegad. Where did it go wrong, Paddy?
The forward line of the Galway team didn't play well, but apart from that, the centre half back was excellent.
Tony Keady.
Yes, but Jim Carney there under more pressure, I think, than some of the Cork players were all day. Let's get a final word from Joe McDonough of Galway, who's been here with us all afternoon. Joe, a disappointment from a Galway point of view. You've had about 15-20 minutes now to look back on the game. Where did it all go wrong?
Well, without a doubt, Michael, it's a great disappointment to all Galway. It isn't that we were, as the papers were saying, probably overconfident. I think the team themselves were aware that they had a tremendous test before them coming up here today. But that said, it's a tremendous letdown after the great performance in the semi-final. And I think really that certainly perhaps the style of play and the contrasts in the style of play were seen to great interest today. That is the possession game of Galway, as I said before, and the direct play of the Cork players. And again, a superb team effort because the Cork defenders did not give a chance to the Galway forwards to go. And as well as that, I thought myself, looking here at the Galway forwards in the first half, the service they were given, very, very slow, carrying the ball up from half-back centre field. It wasn't as direct as it should have been, and more often than not it went into the space into Johnny Crowley, who was there all alone for an awful lot of that first half, where the third-man midfield tactic, I think, rebounded against them today.
Well, Joe, we must say commiserations then to Galway, but I have to say also congratulations to the man who's sitting the other side of me here this afternoon, Con Roach. Con, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's been said already so many times, but we must repeat it again. The fact that Galway went out, they played these tactics against Kilkenny, they worked perfectly. They decided to gamble, I think, and go with exactly the same kind of approach today, and it really backfired.
Yes, Michael, I think they definitely backfired on them.
they got bogged down, I think, especially around the half-hour line. They didn't seem to be getting the ball in at all. And where Johnny Crowley picked up everything that was going in there, and he was loose. And they never used their extra man out the field, I thought. But outside that, I think Cork won the game. I thought in the first 20 minutes they completely upset Galway, never left them settle. And I thought it was a tremendous team performance. I think it was the best since I saw since 1966 anyway. Tremendous.
Well, it certainly was that, Con. You must be very, very proud as a Cork man of the way they responded to all the pressure that they were under, to the injuries they formed during the year up to this point, to the fact that they went into the game very much the underdogs, which was an unusual situation for Cork.
Yes, Michael, I'd be very honest. I didn't give them a chance. I think I was talking to Yaman this morning, Yaman Cregan, and I didn't give them a chance. I'll be quite honest. I must admit it. But you know, I thought they were tremendous.
Well, I tell you, 15 men who didn't believe, or 17 men who didn't believe that Cork had no chance, were the 17 that went out there and played today for them. Mention of Eamon Cregan. Eamon Cregan has joined us up here in the commentary box right now. Eamon, how did it look to you as a neutral supporter?
I thought it was the most peculiar game. I think at the start of the game, there was a lot of confusion in the Galway forward line because they played the same tactic as they played against Kilkenny, and it completely backfired. And they took the corner forward out that was supposed to be inside around Johnny Crowley, and they left Johnny on his own. And Johnny, I thought, did well by staying inside and then put the pressure back on Galway. Eventually Galway reverted back to the orthodox style. But I found very interesting Joe's analysis of the game today. It was a game of two different styles, the possession game and the more traditional game where you let the ball do the work. And Galway never varied their game. In order to play that possession game, they needed Brendan Linsky going well. And unfortunately for him, after the wallop on the head, he just wasn't in the game. And he never got the forward line going. And Cork played very direct, tremendous hurling. They did tremendous covering for each other. And even Pat Hartnett, with that suspected shoulder injury, he came through with flying colours. And he played some marvellous hurling. But as I said, a most peculiar game, tactics backfired. And
that's right. It's easy, of course, to be wise after the event now, but I mean,
indeed.
this had all worked so well against Kilkenny. I mean, who was to doubt it, really?
Well, this is it. I think Cyril Farrell said that we won't play the same tactics again, but he did. And the difference, I suppose, between the Kilkenny and the Cork game today was that Cork had players that could stay with the Galway lads, whereas the Kilkenny fellas were that little bit slower that particular day.
Eamon Cregan, there's one choice that you're going to have to make at the end of this match. We're not going to ask you to make it now because you're going to do it later on, but I just want to show the viewers this is the Man of the Match award. Now, who's going to be getting this after the All-Ireland Hurling Final of 1986? That remains to be seen later on tonight in the Sunday game. We will, of course, be discussing the match. We'll be analysing the game once again when we've had a chance to sit back and look over it once more, perhaps. Remember also that our phone lines will be open to you tonight for the Sunday game. The phone number there is 603 411. If you want to put your opinions to the programme, then ring us on that number. In fact, those phone lines will be open from 7 o'clock, so please do call us. Let us know what you thought of today's match if you have any point to make of it. So then, what will the public think about the match? What will our experts, what will Eamon Cregan have to say after we've all had a chance to sit down and look at it again? That remains to be seen. And who will win this magnificent trophy, the Man of the Match for the Hurling Final of 1986? There we leave it. We say congratulations indeed to Cork's senior hurlers who pulled off a magnificent victory today against Galway. Commiserations to Galway. Maybe their day will come again. But for today, the day belongs to Cork. From all of us here at Croke Park, bye-bye to you.
You give